Hello everyone. This is a short tutorial about APA formatting with Microsoft Word. In the next 15 minutes we'll look at how to set up Microsoft Word formatting to do a correct cover page with a running head, page numbers with sections, headers, an automatic table of contents, list of figures, and a correctly formatted reference list. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a sample text here. This is a thesis section. Let's start with the cover page. So the thesis guidelines tell us that we need a cover page that has the title, student name, statement of the program, and the school date and a word count. So this is the title. We see from the whole text that we're in the wrong font, the wrong size, everything looks just about wrong. So let's start to clean it up. If we Control A, select the whole file, we can just here update the font, update the size, Times New Roman 12, all the way through is what APA calls for. You'll also want to look at the double spacing, which is here, and align left. A lot of people use align justified, but it can cause problems, especially in the reference list. So use align left. This cover page is one place that is actually going to be centered. So we can center this page, but the rest of it will remain aligned left. So the title is bold and the student name and the rest of it is not, but we just want to get it down to the middle of the page. So we put it in the middle of the page. The student name can come after. There's this statement we can move down a couple lines, the school we can move down a couple lines, and the word count we can put at the bottom of the page. So it's all nice and spread out. That's about all we need to do for the cover page. Okay, let's look at the running head. So the running head is a header, so you double click in this space and you can add the words running head, and then you're going to use a short title, the shortened version of your title in all caps. So the first part we are going to use is transitioning from school to the university. Right? So there's our running head. It remains in the header, and that will be attached to each page in the ones that come afterwards. One thing we need to do is to separate sections so that this title running head is not there. So here we go to page layouts and we go to breaks, and here down where it says next page you need a section break, next page. Yeah, so it puts a space. If we come home and click this backwards P, we'll see the word section break, and what that has done, just to show you, is that header section 1 and header section 2 can be different if we also unlink to previous. So we unlink that, and now we can change heading of section 2 without changing header from section 1. Then we need to look at page numbers. So header section 2 looks great. The only thing we need here is to add a page number. So if I come and I go to insert page number, first of all, I want to format. We know in this introductory section that we need to use Roman numerals, lowercase, and then later in the chapter, in the paper, we'll use this Latin letters or numbers 1, 2, 3. So we start with this, and we're going to not use the previous section because we don't put a page number on the cover page. We start at 1 on the next section. So we've formatted it, but we need to tell our header where to put it. So we come back and go insert page number, top right. Oh, that's bottom right. Let's undo that. Sorry. Let's do insert page number at the top of page in the right. Yeah. Now I've lost the text of this, and it's easy to get it back. I just copy this and put it back here. Between these two, if you just hit tab, it'll separate them out to opposite sides. So now header 2 is going to start counting at 1, and then 2, right? And the header is going to just stay the same. All right, so that's our first bit of page numbers to look at. The second thing about page numbers, if I bring up my next page, this declaration, for example, is our first page. You're also going to have this table of contents, right? So let's put that on the next page. This is also going to be in this introductory section, but after your oh, also one more page. The list of figures will be one new page, right? The chapter headings, that's going to be on a new page altogether, right? This is going to actually be section 3. So whenever, whenever your main text begins, do the same thing that we did before. Page layout, insert a break, next page. It's going to put methodology on a new page. And if I double click here, I'm going to see header section 3, and we can make this page number different from the one before. So again, if I highlight the page number, or I can right click on it, and I can format that page number to say, hey, we want it to be 1, 2, 3 like this. All right, let me say okay. We can also make sure that it is Times New Roman, because right now our header, all of our header is in the wrong font. So let's get that into Times New Roman. Same thing with probably our first one, right? See, they're not attached to each other anymore. So now that's the right font. We have lowercase Roman numerals in the beginning sections. We insert a section break, and we start a new section with Latin numbers. And this will go through the rest of the whole paper. So that's all you need are these 3 section dividers. Okay, so let's go back to our plan. What have we done so far? We've done a cover page, we have done a running head, and we've done page numbers. The next two go together because headers are needed in order to do a table of contents. So let's do that. Coming to our main section, right, table of contents, we need to label these sections as header styles. So if we right click or double click on our chapter 1, maybe we want to call this chapter 1 methodology or introduction or whatever it is, and right click on this header 1, we're going to update header 1 to match the selection. Now, actually, header 1 should be bold and centered. That's what it should look like. So now that we have this bold and centered, let's do that again. Right click, update header 1, and now heading 1 will always look like this when we assign it to other section headers. The subsections would be heading 2. So let's APA tells us that it should be bold but aligned left, and that's what that looks like. So we do the same thing. We right click and we update 2 to match the style selection. We can go through and grab all of our headers. Oops, sorry. We need to make that bold. I undid what I just did if you didn't see that. Bold. Now we make it look heading 2. Heading 2 is now bold and flush left. And any future heading 2s, right, like here, I can highlight and just left click, and it'll call it heading 2. Heading 3 is for subsections under that. So here, research site and study participants. The first one is research site. I will want that bold, but I also want to indent it. And that's what header 3 looks like. So if I right click, match. Okay. You can also do header 4. It would look the same, but italicized and indented like that, and the text begins right after it. So this is what heading 1, 2, 3 looks like. We have one more header 3. So we'll get a good example of these 3 headers when we make we have to indent it when we make our table of contents. So we have some headers. We're going to come back and come up to our table of contents. So here, all we need to do is to go to our references and table of contents. We need a custom table of contents because we need to change some of the font settings. So the spacing is nice, right? It indents the different headers. We can have 3 or 4 levels. If you want to have a 4th, you can do that. We like dots across it and it's lined up. So the only thing we need to do is modify the sections to make them the right font. So if I go to table of contents 1, table of contents 2, modify, and put it into Times New Roman. That's all we need to do there. Okay, let's do that for all 3. Times New Roman, and that should look okay. When I hit OK, it's going to grab those headers that I marked, find the page number that they're on, and make a table for us, right? Now, if you want to update this later, say for example I missed a section or I want to add a section, I have deliberately not done this one. So let's add a header that wasn't there before. Let's call this header 2, right? It's now labeled. If I come back up to my table of contents, or maybe I moved a page number or something, I come to the table of contents and I right click on it and I update field. If I update the entire table, hit OK, it adds in the new information. So the only other thing is maybe we want to center that at the top and you have a table of contents. We can do something very similar with a list of figures. There's just a different button that we need to press. So let me show you that real quick. So if you want to put images, graphs, charts, things like that, and label them with a figure, you would put that into your text. So let's say, for example, here we want to insert a useful image. So just as a sample, I have a picture of me dunking in the river for Krishna. Now, I don't know why you would want that in your thesis, but this is the example that I have. So here's a picture. We paste it in. Maybe that's a little bit too big. We can resize it, right? But here's the thing you need to do is the same like we did before with table of contents. We are in the same menu under references, and we need to insert a caption. So we insert a caption, and this is going to say that it's a figure. If it's a table, use tables. Figure 1, let's call it Crazy Phil. Okay, and then we don't touch anything else. It should be fine. We want it above the item instead of below, and we put that in. It'll do that. The only other thing is that this font, again, is not formatted exactly right. So if we come back to these styles, yeah, we don't have caption. This is a caption, and we don't have it listed here. So if you click on this little arrow, you'll get this list of styles. If they're not all there, make sure that it says show all styles, right? So mine's going to be, if I click here, mine's going to be right there highlighted for me. It's caption, and I need to edit this like we did before. Modify, we need it to be the right font, the right size. It's not italicized, and it's black. And then if we hit update automatically, we'll do that for all of them. Yeah. So we've labeled it. We just need to come back up. You could do as many of those, right? Each new one will automatically add on figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and then here, references, insert the table of figures. It will do like we did before. We want to make this table of figures also the same, Times New Roman, automatically update, and we hit OK. I believe that'll do it. So there's the figure. If I add in more later, I can right click, update field, and it will update it for me. So I get a whole list of our figures. You'll do lists of tables the same way, just call them tables and make a new list. So we're almost done. If I come to our plan, we've done headers, right? So we attach labels to those. We do tables of contents by using the headers, and then we do a list of figures by inserting captions. The final thing is to look at your reference list, because APA wants a certain formatting for that too. If you look here, with just left align, we're going to have some spaces, and this person has tried to use it with the space bar, so I'm going to undo those real quick just to show you. So, alright, if I look here, if I hit tab, right, it's going to adjust the whole line. What we really want is the first one on the left and the second two to be indented. And the way to do that is to highlight, see there's these weird spaces. And if I take this and put it into justified, I'm going to get some strange spaces somewhere here and there. Yeah, like if I do justified. So this is one of the reasons we don't use justified. We use left aligned. But what we really want for all of these is something called a hanging indent. So I'll highlight my reference list, yeah, and I come to this paragraph menu, and it gives me the choice for indentation, and it's hanging indent, right? It's the second one there. If I hit hanging indent, it's going to take the first line, leave it on the left, and the second line it's going to indent just this much. And it does that automatically with no spaces, with no work. So I hope this is helpful. We've looked at a number of different things that I hope will help save time. One last suggestion is that you take this when you make it the first time, is to save it as a template, and you don't have to change these headers for every new document that you do. So good luck with your writing and your research, and I hope this was helpful.